Thank you for being here. You could have been anywhere tonight, but you're here with us, and that means a lot. And tonight, my story is about shame. It wasn't that long ago that I took a stage just like this one to contend with a lot of the same topics that we're contending with tonight. Now, when I took that stage that night, I wasn't ready. I was scared. But I did that shit. I took accountability for my actions and the people I had hurt, and it felt really good to take on that process. It felt so good, in fact, that by the time I was done and I walked back to my seat, there was no doubt in my mind, no question, that I had single-handedly defeated toxic masculinity. I was one of the good guys now. I wasn't like those other men. It felt really good to think that I had reached a new level of nourishing masculinity, that I unlocked this part of me, that I would never have to contend with issues I had with masculinity again. There was something I said that night in my talk then, something along the lines of, if you had acted this way as I had, then you weren't shit. I really thought that I had stopped being shit after that story. But spoiler alert, I'm here tonight. 2 years ago, in the fall of 2020, during the height of the pandemic, I was teaching. I'm a teacher. I teach 8th grade science. And I wasn't doing well. I was really struggling with everything having changed for me. You see, I loved teaching. I loved being in the classroom. It gave me a lot of life. And look, I get it. The pandemic was hard for everybody. It's not often I hear anybody say, I'd like to go back to the height of that. So I understand. It sucked for everyone. But I was breaking down. I wasn't able to keep up with what I had to do. At the same time, I was in a WashU grad program. I was constantly anxious, tired, depressed, lonely, not getting sleep. And I was having trouble contending with this because, see, I'm a man and I'm supposed to be strong. And the reason I believe that was because growing up, I never saw my dad come home and complain about anything at work. He was just always strong. And that's what I thought I had to be. I wasn't supposed to be feeling like I couldn't handle this. He never once put that on me or my brother or my mom. He just dealt with that shit. Well, there was one day in that fall of 2020 that I was on a Zoom call for this WashU class, and which was always very frustrating experience because I was behind. I wasn't keeping up with my work, so I'd sit there and not know what anybody was talking about. I just nod my head and hope that my professor wouldn't call on me. But as the class was ending, my professor asked us to share a win that we had or something that we were proud of. And now normally I'm pretty good at if I really don't feel that, I can bullshit my way through that. We've all been there, highs and lows, icebreakers. We can all fake it if we need to. And normally I'm really good at that. But something about this moment when it came to be my turn to share, I guess I just didn't have it in me to be insincere and disingenuous. I came off of mute and I just wasn't able to speak. And in fact, all of that anxiety and tiredness and depression and loneliness, I guess it just caught up with me in that moment. And I don't know how else to describe it, but I broke emotionally and physically, mentally. I just started crying. Which is a real shame because I'm a man and I wasn't supposed to do that, and my dad would never do that, and he would never let anybody see him feel that way in public. And this was an incredibly shameful public display in front of my peers and my professors. And so I did what anybody would do in a moment like that. I hit end call immediately. I was gonna get out of there. I wasn't gonna let them see me cry anymore. And I gotta say, I also feel pretty ashamed that I had thought that, I could defeat toxic masculinity. It became clear to me that a lot of what I've internalized growing up, I'm gonna have to contend with for the rest of my life. If you're keeping score, I guess you can say toxic masculinity and I are tied. I guess we'll see about a round 3. Thank you.